Well, hello everybody. This is the Chaotic Evil Bard, and today I want to introduce you to a game called Project 1999, aka Everquest. This is a emulated server, and the goal of this server is to emulate the conditions of Everquest in 1999. I know that's maybe self-explanatory, but Everquest is maybe one of my favorite games of all time, and this free service lets you play it in the way you remember doing it. In my case, in my early years in high school. So I'm really excited to show you guys this game, and I really think it's awesome. I come back and play this game several times a year. So anyway, hope this triggers some nostalgia for you guys, or at the very, or maybe even introduces you to EverQuest for the first time ever. Now, many of you may be familiar with games like World of Warcraft, or, well, I'm sure you guys know about World of Warcraft, or Rift, or Terra, or, there's so many MMOs these days. But back in the early 2000s, late 90s, this and like Ultima Online and a few other games were really the only games in town. I first learned about EverQuest from a friend freshman year of high school. He kind of got me into it, and my first ever character was a druid. And I don't know how many hours I've spent in my life playing this game, you guys, but there's definitely plenty of content for everyone. So I'm not sure this is going to be everybody's thing, but again, hopefully this piques some of your guys' interest. So, all right, without further ado, let's go ahead and switch over to the actual game. So here we are. You can see I've got a couple of characters, none of them too high level. This is Garcos, my level 6 Necromancer. Parabolis, this is my Ixar Monk. Somos is my level 7 Enchanter, and Tambien is my level 5 Druid. And for the video today, I'm just going to introduce you to how to create a character and the early starting levels, and just kind of how to get started in the game. So let's get going. Let's create a new character. Now there's a bunch of different races you can pick from. Barbarian, Dark Elf, Dwarf. You can see the stats are slightly different over on the right-hand side of the screen. Erudite. These guys they've got really big heads and are super smart. Really good intelligence on these guys. Froglocks are not available in Project 1999. They were added in a later expansion. Gnomes, probably my favorite class. Half-elf, halflings, high elf, humans, Ixar, ogres, trolls, Fashir. Again, those are added in Shadows of Luculin. And then what else? Now, one thing you'll notice if you guys play Pathfinder like I do is a lot of these races are taken straight from Pathfinder Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know if the stats are, but definitely the races themselves. And then there's a bunch of classes on this side. Let's go to human since it's got the most. Bard, Beast Lord, that's not available in Project 1999. Berserker, Cleric, Druid, Enchanter, Magician, Monk, Necromancer, Paladin, Ranger, Rogue, Shadow Knight, Shaman, Warrior, Wizard. And right off, you guys are probably going to be like, oh my gosh, there's so many options. What am I supposed to do? I would recommend for a starting player, probably Monk is my favorite all-time class. Monks are really good at soloing. They don't require a lot of equipment. They fight hand-to-hand mostly. And they're just, in my opinion, they're really fun to play. They're very fast to level. You're not sitting around a lot regaining health or regaining mana. It's just really quick, really, really fun, and I really enjoy monks a lot. Another character that I like a lot is the Necro. They get to summon a skeletal pet to fight for them. They also have really cool damage, spell damage. What else is really fun? Some others that you might consider druids are kind of in between a melee and a caster. They do a lot of, they can kind of get in the face of the enemy with their sword, and then they also have like snares and direct damage attacks. And then druids also have heals, so that's very beneficial. And I think also Shadow Knight and Shaman, though I don't know too much about these classes, I haven't played them too much. Shamans get buffs really early, which is very important. They get like this buff called Spirit of the Wolf, and I think level 7. That gives you that gives you a lot more speed when running. That's super important because you guys are going to be running a lot for mobs in this game. Almost every area is going to have monsters that you're not going to be strong enough to fight until you're a very high level. So that's really important. Now, you might be asking, why not go with some of the more classic characters like the Wizard, the Warrior, the Cleric? The answer is pretty simple. At least in my experience in Project 1999, it's going to be tough for you to get a group right off. So you want a class that has some solo ability. And unlike games like WoW and some of the more modern MMOs, you're not going to be able to solo with all these classes. In particular, like a rogue, which I love playing rogues, but a rogue is not going to be soloable past, level 5 probably. Similar challenging class to solo with. Most of them are probably okay. Warrior and Wizard are going to be really tough to solo too. Wizard because it's so glass cannon and you just really need somebody to tank for you, and Wizards don't have a pet at all. Warriors just because you're not going to have heals. So, and in Project 1999, unlike current Everquest, the free-to-play version, you can only bind wound up to 50% health. So Warriors, unless you have a healer, you're going to be sitting around a lot. That's one thing I forgot to mention. Everquest is available as a free-to-play game off of Steam. You're going to see a lot of differences between free-to-play Everquest and Project 1999. The biggest are the ability. Free-to-play Everquest doesn't have fast travel, but they have mounts, and they have this realm called the Plane of Knowledge that gives you teleports between major hubs. In Project 1999, you don't have any of that. Project 1999, travel between continents requires big ships, and so you're going to be waiting around 10-15 minutes for a ship. Or alternatively, some classes like the Wizard and the Druid have the ability to teleport. Actually, just those two classes have the ability to teleport. So you're going to be relying on that. Also, Druids and Shamans have that Spirit of the Wolf spell I mentioned that lets you run really fast. Transportation is a huge part of this game, and you're going to spend a lot of time just traveling from place to place. That doesn't sound super fun, but on the alternative side, it's, I don't want to say realistic, but it feels more immersive because of that requirement. So I think that's kind of cool. Now, I have a level 6 Necromancer that I want to continue playing with, and I love gnomes as a class. So for this video, I'm just going to start a level Necromancer and take you through how to start the game and get started leveling up. And again, you can make your pick, monk or whatever seems interesting to you. All these classes are viable. They're just, some of them require a group and some don't. So that's it. Now, necromancers, like I said, they have the ability to summon pets. They have they have a lot of damage over time spells. They have direct damage spells. They're just a really cool versatile class with great soloable capability. In this case, with a gnome, gnomes start with super high intelligence. So intelligence and stamina, and to some extent dexterity, are important with the necromancer class. But because gnomes start out with such high intelligence and such low stamina, I'm going to max stamina as much as humanly possible. The reason for this is necros have a lot of spells that trade health for mana. So you want to get your stamina up as much as you can, and then the rest of it I'm just going to dump into int. Okay, next. You can see only one deity is available for necromancers. This is true for all races. You can see there's tons of different deities. These aren't super important, but they can impact your alignment and how different NPCs perceive you in the game. And depending on your deity, you can be hated or liked by guards and people. I think it also impacts like the prices you sell goods at, because again, it all comes down to how much people like you, similar to real life. Another thing I wanted to mention, there's all these different races. Most of these races are going to be good. There's a couple of evil races, or quote unquote evil races. Dark elves are evil. Ixar, ogre, trolls are evil. And if you choose an evil class, you're not going to be able to, for for the majority of the game, maybe 75% of the game, you're not going to be able to interact with NPCs. So that's important because you're not going to be able to buy, sell goods. You're not going to be able to buy, sell food, water, bandages, or sell most of your items. So you're going to be relying on good characters and friendly relationships with good characters to help you out with selling that stuff. So that's super tough. Now, one workaround for this is if you choose a dark elf, you can go with enchanter. Enchanters have a bunch of spells that let them conceal their identities. They can transform into a good race that's liked by the city, or at least tolerated. And that lets them, even as evil characters, get around in the good cities. So there's, you have a lot of options, but there's pros and cons to all the options. And it works vice versa. If you're a good class, race, you're not going to be able to go into the evil cities without getting killed. But again, there are a lot fewer evil cities, so it's less of a sacrifice. So let's keep going with the Gnome Necromancer. And all of the stats are reset, so apologies, I'm going to have to re-increase those. So let's just read. Necromancers are servants of the dark gods, studying ancient and mysterious tomes to gain power over the world of the dead. Necromancers are primarily a magic-using class with the ability to wear cloth armor and wield blunt weapons and daggers. I don't read the rest of that. You guys can read it for yourself. But the flavor text in this game is pretty awesome, too. Again, the one deity. Now, there's a bunch of different starting cities. Most of these are specific to the race. All gnomes start in Akanon. And let's go with, just do a random name. And let's get started. Right now we're loading into the city. So again, I'm just going to take you through the start of the game, and hopefully you guys will be able to get going from there. Everquest is not, even in the free-to-play game these days, there's not a lot of hand-holding in the game. Hopefully you guys can see everything going on here. There is a tutorial, luckily, that'll help you, but yeah, there's a lot of reading. You're not going to find, at least in this game, like a magical path that you just have to follow to solve your quest. Even getting quests is, well, I'll show you. It's challenging. So let's open our inventory first, and you can see, first of all, I'm gonna turn these tips off, since if you guys are listening to me, you hopefully won't need that. So there's a couple of things we have in our inventory. We have skin of milk and bread cakes, and this is our food. Now this will go down slowly over time, but it's important to keep food in your inventory. And once this runs out, hopefully you've got enough money from killing monsters and selling their items to actually afford more. Otherwise, you're going to starve, and that's not pleasant for anyone. You also have a standard dagger. You're going to get weapon drops in early mobs, broken weapons or rusty weapons. This dagger is going to hold you for many, many levels, maybe 10 to 20 levels before you get especially as a spellcaster, before you get a weapon that's going to replace this. So we'll just keep that in our inventory. This red book here is the Tome of Order and Discord. Basically, if you give this red book to this Priest of Discord right here, you flag yourself for PvP. And that's cool, but unfortunately you can't reverse that flagging. So unless you're willing to dedicate the rest of this character to PvP, which I'm not, just go ahead and get rid of that. So this little book here opens up your spell book. You can see right now as a spellcaster, I don't have any spells. I have 2 spells in my inventory here. One of them is minor shielding, and one of them is life tap. Now that means I've memorized a spell from the scroll. The next step I have to do is, I've copied the spell from the scroll. The next step I have to do is memorize the spell to my immediate ability to access it. And it takes a super long time, so just kind of relax. Listen to the soothing sound of the clocks going on and off. All right, now I've got an offensive spell and a a slight buff. This minor shielding is going to increase my AC and HP a little bit, and you can see my HP increased by about 25% as a result of that change. So now we're ready to go. Kind of look around here. First of all, you're going to see there's this giant waterfall. It's super awesome. And some pillars and some steam off in the distance. Akanon and dwarves in general, and I think this is just general to these kind of games, is gnomes are sort of tinkerers, steampunk type characters, and Akanon is representative of that. It's underground, but there's a lot of technology, a lot of gears, a lot of robots, and there's some really cool environments as a result of that. All the races have very unique starting cities. One of my favorite ones is Kelethin, where you start as a wood elf, or I think you can start as a human, and that's actually a tree, kind of like a tree fort city. It's pretty awesome. But gnomes are probably my favorite class in the game, and Akanon is, it's a city that kind of feels like my home as a result. So if you're a good character, a couple of important places in Akanon, coming in from the waterfall starting area there, you want to go down in this building, and navigation is going to be confusing as heck, but just bear with me here. Hopefully I'm not turning too quick for you. This is the banker. Banker's super important because when you die in the game, you don't lose your items, but you have to recover your items. So if you die and your body is in a place where you can't get back to, like if you just run in to a group of giants and they don't ever move from that area, guess what? You're probably not going to be able to get your body ever. So that's a real problem. One way to kind of hedge against that is to keep your money and anything valuable that you don't need for fighting in the bank. So money in particular. So let's keep going. Cross this bridge. Go into this tunnel type area. Now you might be wondering, what's this text down here? I don't think you can read it. Let me see if I can enlarge it just a little bit. Sorry, you guys. Here you go. I don't think that made it any bigger. Sorry. Anyway, what's this red text here? Basically, there's no levels in the game that are visible. So again, this is another thing that I feel was probably unintentional, but results in the game being even more immersive, in my opinion. What you do is you hit C, and what that does basically is consider your target. So I have guide 2 targeted here, and I considered it. And basically my character looks at that NPC and says, guide 2 looks your way apprehensively. What would you like your tombstone to say? This means that this guy is going to wreck me if I try to attack him. Red is very deadly. Yellow is you have a chance, but it's probably not that great. White means that you're basically the same level in terms of strength. Blue means you're stronger, but they're still pretty strong, but you have a chance to gain experience. And green means they're weak relative to you, and there's also a chance if you consider something that's green that you won't get experience from killing it. The other important piece of information when you consider something is this looks your way apprehensively. This tells you how likely this thing is to attack me. So apprehensive means they're not likely to attack me, but they're also not likely to give me good prices if they were a merchant or something. So let's keep going down. And again, this is not unique in terms of the starting areas. I mean, this is huge, right? Compare this to even WoW today. I mean, I haven't played WoW since a lot of the more recent expansions, but I think the trend is for smaller starting cities. One that comes to mind to me is Rift, where the starting city is very small. And I like that for grindy, I don't know what the right word is, Twitch gameplay, where you're really just kind of locked into the game, But for immersion and really feeling like you're part of this character, being able to have a city that seems at least somewhat big enough to be livable is, I think is cool. So here's the next thing is if I open my inventory, that last piece of paper that I had, if I right click on it, it comes up with, and I apologize for this sound here. I'm going to kind of back out for right now. You have this stained letter, and basically it says, "In the mirror of this wretched society, we await. The time grows ever near for us to shatter these rose-colored visions of the Achenon citizens and let their eyes fall upon the image of our true selves. The dark reflection readies its soldiers of, I don't know, sorry, hidden away deep beneath Achenon in the mines of malfunction. Enos Mamunder is your new master now. Do not keep him waiting." Okay, cool. Enos, what's up, dog? So anyway, if you had just started the game, this guy would have been very difficult to find. If you want to start a different character, you can go to a site called EQ Atlas that gives you maps of these areas to kind of help guide you. The game itself does not have a map, so you're SOL if you're looking in the map to figure out where the heck you're supposed to go for this. But anyway, here's our guy, Enos Mornunder. And he's basically the Necromancer Guildmaster. If I consider him, you can see that he judges me amiably, so he likes me, but he's definitely much stronger than me. So the next step is to give this guy the scroll. And basically he says, "As you wish, we will train you in our dark ways, but know this, our art carries a high price, and there is no turning back for you now." Okay, now I'm a member of the Necromancer Guild, and Enos here gave me a dark gold felt robe with 2 AC. So no stat bonuses, but it gives me this robe that identifies me as a Necromancer. There's a bunch of merchants in this area too. These clockwork merchants. This guy next to Enos is super important because he's going to be the one selling you your early spells. So level 1 spells, you can see right now I don't have any money, but if I had money, level 1 spells are here: Cold Light, Disease, Endure Cold. You can see they're all about 1 gold. The most important one for you to get is Cavorting Bones. This is going to be your spell that allows you to summon your pet skeleton, and the pet is probably one of the most important parts of the Necromancer as a class. Your pet is going to tank for you, it's going to taunt for you. It's basically going to take the heat off while you hit things with your spells. So it's very important. It's important to keep it alive. And I think the Necromancer has one of those coolest pets in the game. So we're coming up on 22 minutes here. I just want to show you real quick how to fight. So this rock snake here, let's consider it. First of all, most enemies in the game, this is like a starting area. Most enemies in the game would not allow you to get this close without attacking you first. But the rock snake here, he's apprehensive. So he's not going to attack me because he's not threatening or aggressive. He's about the same level as me, which means he's level 1. So in this case, what I'm going to do, I've got my buff up, 3 minutes left. I'm going to walk up to it, hit Q to start auto attack, and then I'm going to life tap with my offensive spell. My life tap was interrupted. I'm going to life tap again. Life tap interrupted. Come on, Snake. Come on, bro. Just die quietly for your YouTube audience. Let me zoom in so you can see first person how sick this guy is. I mean, this is pretty cool even today. I don't know if you guys are as into retro type graphics as me, but I really enjoy these kind of graphics. There's something about them that I don't know. They make me feel good, you know. But like I said, this game was so important, as embarrassing as that may be, so important to my early years in high school. So okay, we killed him. GG. Most enemies will not be that easy, but I mean, just look at the detail on this guy. How cool is that? You can see the mouth and the fangs. So right click on the corpse. We can loot. You can see we got two snake fangs here. I don't think those are super valuable. Sorry, that was so disorienting. So these snake fangs sell for 3 copper. The way the currency system works in the game is 10 copper equals 1 silver, 10 silver equals 1 gold, 10 gold equals 1 platinum. And like I said, those first spells are going to cost 1 gold. So we need to get at least 10 silver or 100 copper going if we want to get those spells. So we're going to run back up to where the waterfall was, and we're going to go out into the Steamfront Mountains. This is, again, you guys who are familiar with WoW, this is the starting area. This is where you're going to be killing things and getting experience, getting items to pay for those first spells. So we're going to run out to the Steamfront Mountains here. I'm going to show you around a little bit, and we're probably going to stop the video there because I want to start like a full grindy video separately. You know, I don't want this to run super long. So I'm just running exactly back to where I started in the very beginning. And there's another important part that I want to show you as soon as we get out of these the hallways back in the Steamfront Mountains. But I feel like I'm kind of making this look easy, but when you play the game, just feel free to explore. You know, again, go to EQ Atlas, look around, jump in the water. Now you can drown, but you know, look around. This game is big. It's really, you know, a lot of the areas are made with love, and you can tell. It feels there's a lot of interesting stuff, and it feels like a city. You know, it's not huge, but it feels like a city you could maybe live in. And I don't know. I'm sorry about that waterfall there, guys. I've always really liked it. So we're going to come back from the starting area, and we're just going to head straight. I'm going to reset my buff here just because it's good practice. You don't want to lose that. And we're running, and we're running. Man, if I ran this much in real life, I would be in a lot better shape and much more popular. I remember having the same thoughts in high school. So we're going to keep going here. Now, this is the first zone line that you're going to encounter. Don't freak out. Your game isn't crashing, hopefully. Sometimes it does crash because, again, this is a fan-run emulated server. And, you know, sometimes things just drop out. It's not the end of the world. But in this case, luckily, everything worked out. And we're in the Steamfront Mountain, guys. You can see here's the Watchman. If you get attacked by something that you can't kill, run back to these guys, and most of the time they'll help you kill it. If you die, you're going to respawn right about here. So that's cool because you're going to be doing most of your fighting out here, but if you do something dumb and attack something inside the city, just remember you're going to have to run back into the city to get your stuff. So you can go two ways from here. You can see the path here. If you go left, that's going to be a higher level. Like if you get to around 5, those are a series of camps of kobolds. That's going to be a really fun area for you to attack there. Coming this way, most of the lower level enemies are over here. And what I want to do, because we already talked about combat, is I want to show you what it looks like to die. So this guy here is going to be your worst enemy on this side of the Steamfront Mountains. This skeleton has like some pretty random paths, and he will wreck you. Like, look, I'm just going to show you how fast you're going to get killed by this guy. Instant death. This guy is to be feared, and he's going to be too hard for you to kill until you're about level 10. So probably by the time that you're able to take him out, you're never going to see him again. But that's the way this game is, man. It's like I said, almost every area is going to have something that's going to constantly create danger for you. And so, you know, I don't know if, like me, you played a lot of WoW, and there's like points where you experience you know, like you feel relatively safe. You're just trying to get through an area to get the quest done. That's not, you don't get to feel that way in this game. It's gonna constantly harass you and make you feel the danger of the environment. And I think that's important and kind of unique to this game and some of the older MMOs and MMORPGs. So the first thing you're going to notice, I just respawn. Like I said, I respawn kind of in this area. First thing you're going to notice is all those sweet items I had are gone. this is right about where I'm going to end the video, but I just want to introduce you to a couple of ideas in the game. First of all, like I said, you lose the knowledge of those spells, so you got to rememorize your spells. I forgot how long this takes. Sorry, guys. Probably should not have intentionally got myself killed there, and you know, I wish I could think of something entertaining to say to fill this time, but you know, it's like, what can I say? We're just slowly memorizing our spells. One thing I kind of want you to notice is, you know, this is a fan-made server. This is kind of a niche game, but there's a ton of people. So just in this zone, there's 20 people right now. That's awesome. 20 people playing this ridiculous game. Here's another thing. You're out of food and drink. I lost my food and drink. So that means if I want to cast a spell, that's fine, but my mana is not going to regenerate until I eat again or drink again. So I think this is, no, that's a different skeleton. So this is a concept, and right now it's easy because my bind point is so close. This is a concept that's important to Everquest. Basically, it's called the corpse run. And as you advance in level, you're going to get further and further away from where you're bound. And that's cool, except it's totally not cool because you're going to have to run and fetch your corpse. So right now, this is pretty safe. What I can do is, I think I can slash corpse drag, and basically, if you slash corpse drag, that's kind of just a little trick to move your corpse closer to you. Like if you're, if I died closer to some enemies that I couldn't fight without my gear, or I couldn't fight at all, then I can slash corpse drag the material, my body to a place where it's safe to move my stuff over to me. The other thing is, once you have all these equipment slots filled out, there's no button that automatically refills everything. You're going to have to manually go in and pick up every single item, and you could have, you know, 20, 30 items and replace it. So you need, you know, several minutes to get everything over. So anyway, that's the concept of a corpse run. I know I kind of made it look easy, but just keep in mind having to do that through, you know, several minutes of running and deep in enemy territory, and it can get really tense depending on where you die. It's one of the most hated and one of the most memorable parts of the game, honestly. So just know it's there and ready yourself for it. So anyway, this has been an introductory guide to Project 1999 and EverQuest in general. Hope you guys liked it. If you did, you know, definitely check it out on project1999.org or the wiki they've got there, or you know, just download EverQuest free on Steam and play it and enjoy it. I know I do. So anyway, this has been the Chaotic Evil Bard. Don't forget to like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. And hope to see you again in part 2. Thanks, guys. Bye.